We have big news. We have exciting news for you. Tell them what it is, Sareena.
We are super excited to announce that we are starting our first membership this January 2024.
Yay! Membership, membership, membership.
So we're excited to let you know that we will be hosting a monthly membership where when you join, you will be
With us live in a Zoom room once a month for a workshop like we just hosted. It's going to be a workshop like that, one topic each month, a different topic. You might even help us come up with the following month's topic from inside our membership. Super excited to meet you. It was so fun meeting a few of you in our inaugural workshop. So we're really looking forward to that.
And when you are a member, you will also be receiving a monthly newsletter where I'm going to be a little more intimate and I'll be sharing the things that are working and the things that aren't working for me.
Yeah, like taking a tool that you've learned from the podcast and how you're implementing it and how well that worked, or maybe if it didn't work. And then Amma can put in my 2 bits worth. We'll see how that goes. But a membership newsletter and a membership live Zoom room workshop starting in January 2024. Can sign up through our Patreon link in the show notes. Yeah.
Yes, everything will be in the show notes, and we can't wait to see you there, listeners.
We can't wait. Yay.
Hi, my name is Sareena. I am a mother to a toddler and currently pregnant.
And hi, I'm Lisa, also known as the Singing Amma. Amma means grandmother in Icelandic. I am a mama and an Amma.
At the beginning of my first pregnancy, I felt like I was lacking my village, which is why we are here creating a village with you, in hopes that you won't feel as isolated as I did.
I also felt the lack of a village in my early parenting years way back when. And I come to our village with a background in early childhood education. I have been coaching parents along their parenting journeys and supporting them for over 35 years.
Amma Lisa and I invite you to grab your latte
Or your tea
and come sit around the proverbial fire with us each week.
when we come together to have a conversation where we'll be talking all things parenting, keeping it real, keeping it raw, right here with you. Hi, hi, hi. It's Amma Lisa, the Singing Amma. And again, I'm going to read to you one of my previously published columns, published originally in the Fishbowl magazine on Salt Spring Island. And after I read the column, Mama Sareena is going to join me again, and we're going to dive into this one, which is going to be pertinent for Mama Sareena because she is learning how to make way for new baby number 2. Let's dive in. Dear Singing Amma, we are expecting our second child, and the closer I get to my due date, the more I worry about how this new little baby might be hard on my older child. How can I help her not feel replaced or otherwise upset by this little brother or sister? Signed, Concerned Mama. Dear Expecting Concerns, this is such a great question to ask before the new baby comes, as you can pave the way for a smoother transition by putting a few simple suggestions into play early, even beforehand. Depending on the age and temperament, new big brothers and big sisters will react differently and at different times. Some as soon as the new baby arrives, others might not seem to have any reaction at all until some weeks or even months into the younger sibling's life. So begin now creating some special one-on-one time with your child, once or twice a day, preferably. If possible, dad, if he's in the picture, or second parent, if he or she is in the picture, should do this too. Get these mama and me, parent and me times established now so that it will be something your child can depend on while they undergo the transition of the new life entering your family. Read some favorite books snuggled up on a comfy chair. Make art together. Kick a ball around in the backyard. Sing songs, or just have some silly, playful time. Ask grandparents, other family members, and friends to be sure to dote on the big brother, the big sister, when they come to call first, and even more than they dote on baby. This can be really helpful. If people wish to bring gifts for the new baby, a new big brother or big sister gift can be a really nice idea too. This big little human just needs to know that they are still special, still loved, and still wanted as a member of this family. Tell your older child stories about how you doted on them, how you couldn't take your eyes off them for hours on end when they were newborn. Your unwavering, loving gaze upon them as you do. Tell them these stories. Knowing that the arrival of a new sibling can sometimes cause regression behaviors can help. If your older one slips back on the level they had come to with their toileting, or wants to nurse or have a bottle again, or whines or cries more than they have for a while, bring compassion to your game. Know that they are not doing it to make your life harder. They are simply having a bit of a challenge coping. Focus on connection instead of correction. If your firstborn acts out by saying something to or about the new baby that seems unkind or hurtful, know that this is common and do your best to acknowledge the feelings behind the words instead of reacting to them. I hate the new baby. Wow, that is a very big feeling, I hear. Sometimes it can be hard getting used to being a big sister. And zoom in close for a big bear hug. Trust the foundation of love and belonging that you've established with your firstborn, and know that it will see you through. Okay, there's one thing that I really wanted to put in here. How we always talk about how would it feel to be talked to or treated like that from your significant other. I've read or heard some experts talk about this, and I forget the source. I apologize. But it makes logical sense. If your spouse brought home a new partner, somebody that they were so madly in love with, this new human in your family, just think about how that might feel. They're doting on that new person. They're loving and gushing all over that new person. And bring that compassion to your older sibling child. your eldest child when you have the new baby come home. That's how they're going to be responding.
Honestly, and this is funny because me and my husband were just having this conversation last night or the night before.
Oh,
And
cool.
he also mentioned like how you had stated when families coming over, make sure that they're excited for the older sibling
Great.
and showing that. And he mentioned that. I was very proud of him, and I'm like,
Very
good job,
good.
Bobby.
Yay, Dad.
But honestly, my concern is that I have such a strong connection with my daughter, and she's such a good child. She's just amazing. And my concern is that the second one might not be as well behaved as she is. And I've had all this time to form such a strong bond with her that she might be my favorite, or I might show that she's my favorite. And it's different in the beginning because, you're really just nursing and cuddling, and it's a different relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my concerns is, am I going to love this second child as much as I love my first child?
Mm-hmm. It's hard to imagine that we could have that much love that we had when that first baby is born and you're just like blown out of the water in love. It's hard to imagine that that could happen again. And full disclosure, I had one child. So I haven't had that experience. And I have talked to many, many, many other parents over the years. And yes, you can fall equally as deeply in love with each subsequent child. So, so for me, I see that as I was so blown away by the level of the depths of the love that I felt for my child when she was born and ongoing. We are so conditioned to think that love is conditional, first of all.
Yeah.
And that there's not enough to go around. It's a hot commodity and it's finite. It's not finite. The whole world of life is love, as far as I'm concerned. It's not finite. It's not finite. And yeah, so I'm curious to see how that is for you after you've had your second baby. We will come back to this conversation for sure.
Yeah, and I've seen other people say that, and then they have their second child and they're like, I loved you so much. It's not comparable. It's the same love,
Mhm.
and you just love more, and it's just more love in the world and in your
Yes.
family. But
And each baby is going to be its own human. It's
mhm.
going to have its own personality. It's going to have its own way of being. It's going to be now I'm just going to put in here, I don't use the words good girl, bad girl. And
Mhm.
we'll talk about that in depth going forward in other episodes. There are very good reasons to stop using those terms. If you say she's such a good girl, on the other side of that coin, there's a bad girl.
Yeah.
And it's subjective and it's qualitative. And what we actually want to do is acknowledge, instead of saying she's a good girl, I find my first child so easy to be around. She likes to help, like describe the things that have her be in your mind, quote, good,
Mhm.
right? So that's just a little added on bonus there. um, yeah, so they'll each be their own individual personality for sure, and yeah, loving them. I think it's like, Sareena, knowing who I know you to be as a mama, it's going to be there for you because you allow yourself to follow your intuition with being a parent, with parenting. And yeah, and I get that it's a concern right now for you. I get that there's some, maybe not quite fear, but some really questioning in you.
Yeah.
How's that going to go? Yeah, I
how it's
hear that.
gonna go, how it's gonna look, and my daughter, she's generous, she's kind, she's loving, but we're still breastfeeding, and I'm I think she's gonna be jealous when I'm breastfeeding the newborn more, and just seeing what that looks like. Like, I breastfeed her when we're in bed. So when I'm in bed breastfeeding her, I think to myself, what's this gonna look like when I have a newborn? Am I gonna breastfeed her and then put her in her bassinet and then be breastfeeding Ellie? Or I j- just not knowing what it's gonna look like is just what makes me nervous.
Mm-hmm. So I would really encourage pre-paving some of that. We've talked about pre-paving, I think,
Yes.
already. So what that would look like now, even in the next few weeks, while you can start now. When you're a brand new baby, I what do you have a name for nursing? Do you have a code name together?
Chi Chi.
Chi Chi. Okay, so you had Chi Chi like all day, every couple of hours, every 3 or 4 hours, whatever it was for you. Describe how that was for her. And because a brand new baby, like get one of her dollies out, and a dolly, if you have a dolly that's anywhere near sort of life size, the baby's tummy is so tiny. When you were a baby, your tummy was so tiny. You had to eat every couple of hours. So when the new baby comes, she's going to have to eat every couple of hours. Now you only have Chi Chi when we're lying down together in bed.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're lying down together in bed, you can have some Chi Chi, and baby's going to need to eat because baby's going to depend on having that because that's going to be her only food. So starting to have that conversation now, maybe you can even do some make believe around it. Maybe you can say, oh, here, I think your baby needs to nurse. My baby needs to nurse, and pick up her dolly and do a little pretend play and pretend you're nursing the baby dolly. And then see how Ellie's response is to that. That might be a good exercise to try. Oh, baby needs to nurse. You come. And the other thing about when you are nursing baby, there may well be times when your older one feels jealous or vies for your attention or does things to get your attention in a negative way just to get your attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
So creating now how it's going to be, what kinds of activities could you do together? Pretend that you're nursing the baby doll. Say, oh, it's time for baby to eat. So you come and bring me your favorite story right now, and mama will read to you while baby's eating. You know, set up a couple of different things that you can do together while baby's eating so that you have that foundation when it's actually happening throughout the day.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that. I'm very proud of my husband for acknowledging to let people, when our family and friends come, to acknowledge our older daughter first,
I am proud
because
of you too, Dad.
that I was very proud of wife when he spoke about that.
Mm-hmm.
But we had also spoken about making sure that he takes the baby for a while and I'll spend some time with our older daughter,
Yes, yes.
and vice versa,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because yeah, I really like that, and I think that's really important. And whether it's bath time together, because her and I take a shower sometimes together, and I enjoy that. It's fun for
Mm-hmm.
me and her.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds really, really good. One thing I noticed when I noticed it more with my grandchildren because I was one step removed. When I would go shopping or somewhere public with my older grandson and the new baby, So many people just in public, people are so attracted to babies.
Oh
They're
yeah.
like cooing and oohing, and they want to come right up and they, oh, da, 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 all about the baby. So when that happens, the older child can get really disgruntled. And if they're a child who tends towards acting out, they can throw a full blown upset, out there in public. And so you want to preempt that. And one of the ways you can do that, this is like what you were saying about your wonderful husband suggesting that the other family then friends that are coming to visit or seeing you with the new baby and your toddler, focusing on the toddler and really giving her a lot of juice. So yes. And then when you're out in public with strangers, you're not going to be able to set that up.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I did was, when they would start focusing on the baby, oh, how old is the baby? Oh, how beautiful. And I'd say, well, handsome big brother, how old is that baby? Do you remember? And I would just feed him energy, feed the
Aww.
bigger child as much, and like focus it on him,
Mm-hmm.
your energy, if the people around you don't get it. If I'm ever attracted to saying hello to a new baby that I see out publicly, and if there's an older child, I will always ask the older child about the young baby. I will say, hello, look at you. You look like you're a new big sister. Oh my goodness. How does it feel being a big sister? And sometimes they might go, I love it. And sometimes they might have some hesitation. And I often will say, I bet you have some different feelings at different times. I'm imagining that sometimes it feels really fun and you just love your baby sister so much. And other times, I bet you get cranky about having that baby around all the time. And how much, like, honestly, I'm talking to your big girl now. Honestly, how much time does that baby take up with your mama? That can be a little frustrating. And I just have a conversation with the older sibling.
My grandpa, when I used to go to my grandparents' house on the weekend, he would give me like a little allowance for playing and entertaining my little brother. So that made me feel
Oh,
like a proud older sister, and he was paying me, so I felt I kind of like took ownership over being a good big sister, and like it
oh,
was a job kind of, but
right.
in a good way.
Yeah, nice.
So it
Yeah.
was nice that my grandpa did that, and my grandparents always made me feel like a proud older sister, like, oh, I like how you show your brother how to do this and what you're
Nice.
teaching your brother, and making sure that I was doing a good job as an older sister and setting up.
Really noticing it and acknowledging
Yes, they were
you.
very good at that.
Very nice. That's lovely. Well, it sounds to me like you and your hubby have some good foundation for making this a fairly smooth transition. And I'm not going to lie, it's intense. Again, I haven't experienced it myself, but being, doing the parenting coaching I've done over the years and in the classes with parent education, oh, it's big. Bringing in number two is very big. So, not to scare you off, but really to have you be prepared, I think is with some ideas of how to make that transition smooth is a really great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is a big transition, and I try to think about it as it's just an extension of love, but it's just a big transition in the home with the family dynamics and just getting everything done, another bath time, another feeding,
Yes.
and my
And you
big
getting some rest.
yeah, and I think I always say my biggest fear with having right now we're in an apartment on the second floor, and I always say my biggest fear is getting into the car with both the
And it's a walk up.
toddler.
You're in a
Yeah,
walk up, right? Yeah.
yeah, the second floor. So my biggest fear is getting down the stairs with a toddler and a newborn and just two baby bags, and
Mm-hmm.
it seems like a lot. And I know we'll adjust and we'll get used to it, but it is a huge shift. And going from a couple and having a baby is a change. But
Mm-hmm.
then going from a family of 3 to a family of 4 seems like a bigger change. And then when I
Okay.
think of families of 5 kids, I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
how do they do it? But
Personally, I wanted, well, when I was very little, I wanted 10 kids. When I got a little more reasonable, I wanted 6. And then I only ended up having 1. And I was sad about that, actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
it,
But
it's hard having so many kids. And my mother-in-law, she's one of 15.
whoa.
And when I think about having to have dinner with 15 kids, and
I
oh my gosh.
I went to Newfoundland I'm on the west coast of Canada, and I went with a friend all the way across. We drove across the Newfoundland when I was 15 years old. And he and an older woman, they lived on a communal farm together, and then his little girl, and we all went across Canada. And his family was in Newfoundland, and they had 13 kids, and 11 of them were still at home. 10 of them were still at home. One lived down the street. He lived across the country, and one had passed away. So there's 10 kids at home. The youngest was by that time 8. Anyway, laundry day.
Oh my gosh.
And the youngest, his job was to sort the socks. Can you imagine socks for a family of 12 or 15 people? So his job was to sort the socks. It was brilliant. Like, find a job for every different one, right? That's another thing too. When you have new baby, start thinking now with your husband about what are some of your older child's jobs. What are some of her jobs that she could be responsible for? Little things that will make her feel like, oh yeah, maybe it's fluffing up mama's pillow on the couch when she needs to nurse baby. And if she doesn't feel like doing it all the time, if she's feeling like, I don't even want you nursing baby right now, don't talk to me about fluffing your pillow. If she doesn't want to, you don't have to push it, but it can help them feel like they're being part of the whole family system and how it all works. So some simple little getting mommy, I don't know if she can access the water, but for older kids, getting mommy a drink of water and putting it down beside her every time she sits down to nurse. Because mama, you got to have a
Mhm.
drink of water, drink it down every time you nurse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So those kinds of things. Getting you a little snack out of her kid cupboard when every
Mhm.
time you sit down to nurse. Or if it's not every time, if she's having a hard time with you nursing in that moment, that's another thing you can do. Oh honey, I know you don't want me to be needing to nurse right now, and I need to be because baby's hungry, and I could really use some food. Do you think you could help mama right now? Could you get me a snack out of your cupboard? And that can just shift the mood. She can feel important. She's got a job in the family to keep everybody settled and the whole family working as a unit, right?
Yeah, and I'm reading right now How to Win Friends and Influence People, or I got it backwards, How to Influence People and Win Friends. And really that's the basis of it, is everybody wants to feel important.
Yes.
And
That's why kids love helping with chores.
yes, and that it's made me think about several conversations that we have, and kids wanting their independence because they feel important when they can do things for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and
Nice.
being proud. So yeah, I guess just making sure that she feels important when the baby comes into the picture, and it may seem like the baby's more important because she
Yeah.
constantly needs to be fed and put it
And
down for a nap.
loved, not
Yeah.
just important, but
Mm-hmm.
loved. I need to look up who I heard this from recently. Gazing at your child with complete love and adoration. while you're nursing the baby can be a huge, like, oh, honey, I remember nursing you. Oh, I remember this feeling. And you were my very first baby. It was the first time I got to feel and just, remembering and gazing at her and just pouring that love into her, even if she's across the room, or having her come up and sit beside you and holding her hand, or having her touch your leg, or touch your belly or something, just so there's some physical contact too. Yeah, so there's lots of ways.
Yes, and I'm so excited. A little nervous, but more excited.
Yay. Yeah.
And after it all happens, I can't wait to share my experience and my daughter's experience too, because that's it's, like I said, a whole new journey. But
it is.
We're excited to embark on it.
Yay. Well, I'm excited to embark on it with you, and I'm a little envious.
You'll be right there with us.
So, yeah, I'm happy for that. And I'm happy to be experiencing all of this new chapter with you. It's a real honor, actually.
Well, it's an honor having you here to help me navigate it.
Aw, yay. And I hope it's helpful for all of you listening in. I hope that you get some support and some reminders, maybe, because we love being here with you.
Yes, thank you for being here for the journey with us.
It takes all of us to make a village.
Yes, a big village. And thankfully we have you guys.
Yay. Bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hey, so I just wanted to share my 5 gems that I got out of this episode. Number 1 would be pre-paving and letting your child know what new activities might look like with the new baby in the picture. Number 2 would be when somebody approaches you about your new child and makes everything seem like it's about the newborn, asking your older child to help out answering questions about your newborn. Number 3 is prioritizing that one-on-one time with your older child and making sure you both have one-on-one time with each other like it was before. Number 4 is getting your older child to help with any chores. This will make them feel important and proud and take ownership over being the older sibling. And last but not least, number 5, having activities in place when baby's nursing, which is going to be super important for me since I know my daughter loves her nursing time, and having her bring me over a snack or have snack time together while the baby's nursing, I know will help a lot. So thank you for listening, and I hope you got some gems out of this episode as well.
Thanks for being here with us in our virtual village. We'd love you to join our Facebook group at The Village Parenting Community and on Instagram at The Village Parenting Pod.
And if you enjoy our podcast, please like, subscribe, and share. Also, if you have a moment, please leave us a review. It makes a big difference for us in reaching more parents out there who may be feeling alone.
Please direct message us to connect also. We absolutely love hearing from you. And until next week, we'll be keeping it real and raw right here with you.
This podcast is sponsored by the Singing Amma's private parent coaching and workshop offerings, and also by Enlightened Designs for Crafty Mamas.